Discover the charm and friendly atmosphere of Old Orchid. Our participating merchants association, like the Old Orchid Barbershop, welcomes you. The Old Orchid Barbershop at 156 South Broadway, just south of Clark Avenue in Old Orchid. You remember the good old days when it was a special event to head to the local barbershop with Dad, getting to hear the latest gossip, and the day you got to sit in the barber chair without the booster? We've been cutting hair since 1961. And if you want to feel like a friend, not just a haircut, come by for a visit and a cup of coffee. Old Orchid Barbershop. We believe everyone's family. Offering traditional haircuts to some of the latest styles, or maybe a shoe shine. Check us out on Facebook, too. Open Tuesday through Fridays, 9 to 5, and Saturday, 8 to noon. 156 South Broadway in Old Orchid. The Old Orchid Barbershop, a proud member of the Old Orchid Merchants Association, where you're more than just a customer, you're family.
The information station with information about traffic. AM 1440 and FM 106.3, KUHL.
Good morning, 7:33 information now. It is time to talk food with our favorite grocery gal, Amy Goldsmith. Amy's helped to launch and grow some of the most well-known brands that many of us eat or at least see on the grocery shelves. She's a food industry insider and lives her life as a food finder, looking for the best new products and trends. You can follow Amy and direct message her any questions through Facebook and also on Instagram at The Grocery Gal. First of all, Amy, welcome back to the show. Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, we had a few listeners call in with some questions, so are you all set? Are you going to help us?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right. So the first one is a question about sugar and how much sugar should a person eat daily? I think we've discussed this, but it's always good to talk about it.
Yes, it's a great question. My guess is we all, myself included, eat too much sugar daily, and quite honestly, that's not on purpose. Added sugar is in so many foods then. I mean, I want to tell you a quick anecdote. Growing up, we had a family friend whose parents owned a KFC, and my friend, who was my age, worked at it. We were teenagers. And one day, my friend and I stopped in to say hi, and he offered, our other friend offered to, feed us. And my friend that I was with was on a no-sugar diet for medical reasons, and we were, again, like late teens, and my friend who worked at the KFC said, well, I guess you're not eating here today because there's sugar in everything. And we're like, what about the coleslaw?
Yeah.
It's like a salad. He's like, nope, there's sugar in that too. And
wow.
That was the day I learned it. Like, sometimes we just cannot control how much sugar we're having. We can't read the labels, and we're being served, and we don't know what's in it. So there's probably sugar in almost everything that we're eating. But to your question, men should consume no more than equivalent of 9 teaspoons of sugar. That's about 150 calories of sugar, or 36 grams of sugar per day.
Wow.
So men, 9 teaspoons, 36 grams, 150 calories of added sugar per day. And for women, the number's lower. It's 6 teaspoons, about 25 grams, or 100 calories of sugar per day. So consider that one 12-ounce can of soda can roughly contain, 8 teaspoons or 39 grams of sugar. You're basically over that for women and at capacity for men.
Wow. Yeah, that's something to think about. I mean, having that one soda might even just kind of put you over your daily intake recommended for sugar.
That's right.
Yeah. So,
that's right.
Also, does that include all sugar? Because fruit has sugar in it, so is that the same thing?
No, it does not include fruit. That's a pure natural sugar. This includes added sugar, all forms of added sugar to food, such as the names are dextrose, glucose, and fructose, as well as like table sugar, which is sucrose. And then sugar naturally, actually, it also includes like honey and syrup and fruit juices and fruit concentrates. And those are considered added sugar. And I don't know if you've noticed, I hope you have, because the Grocery Gal has been telling you to read your labels.
Right. Yeah.
The FDA added a line to the nutritional label for added sugar. So we're on the nutritional label, it says sugar, and it may say, let's say 15 grams. There's a line below it that says added sugar now, and that could say 14 grams. So, nearly all of the sugar is being added, which is a big difference. You want to pay attention to that added sugar line. Yeah,
definitely. So you want the added sugar line to be low, and overall you want to try to keep track of the amount that you're eating, not to exceed 36 grams for men and 25 grams for women, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So we had another caller who wants to know about eggs and the different varieties, and this is actually a pretty good question. So what does cage-free mean versus organic versus free-range? A lot of different terms. Can you demystify this, Dr. Amy?
Yes, it is so confusing. So to begin with, when you see on the carton, the egg carton, grade double A or grade A or grade B. It's determined by the interior quality and the shell appearance of the egg. So condition double A is the best, meaning the egg whites are thick and firm and the yolks are high and round and the shells are clean and unbroken. So the first thing I'll get like the grade, double A, or B.
Sure. So now back to the original question. We understand the grades. So what about the other descriptions, cage-free, organic, and free-range?
Right. So when you see cage-free, that means that the eggs come from hens that are not in cages. They can freely roam a building, a room, an enclosed area with limited access to food and fresh water, but they're not going outdoors. Whereas conventional eggs, the chickens are stacked and in rows with little movement, and so cage-free, they're allowed to roam around, but inside. Now, free-range is similar to cage-free. They're roaming around inside, but free-range actually means that the hens have some sort of access to outdoors, but it doesn't mean the hens actually go outdoors or that the outdoor space is more than a small fenced-in area. It simply implies that a door exists and the farmer could open it at some point.
Ah. Okay, interesting. We have Grocery Gal Amy Goldsmith with us here on KUHL, the time 7:38. So what about local and organic eggs? I'm sure there are definitions of those.
Yeah, so for eggs to be local, they need to come from a flock located less than 400 miles from the processing facility or within the same state. And for eggs to be organic, they just must come from hens who are fed an organic diet. It doesn't matter if they're free-range or cage-free. Their roaming capabilities have nothing to do with it. They just have to be on a diet that's organic.
And then we've heard something about pasture raised. So I'm thinking about chickens on a pasture. I don't know if I'm close or not on this.
Sure. So if the carton says pasture raised, there's probably also stamps on the carton that say certified humane or like animal welfare approved. And basically it means that the hen was giving a ton of space to go outdoors and a ton of space in the barn. And this is pretty much as close to the hen living its best life that you'll ever get. And by the way, you may also see vegetarian fed. And it's worth noting that chickens are omnivorous. They love worms and bugs and larvae and other crawly things. But in a mass-scale production sense, they're getting fed animal byproducts like feather meal or chicken litter. Depending on the context, vegetarian fed can actually be lesser of the two evils.
All right. Then there's also something called hormone-free. So I'm sure this also affects the condition of the animals.
Right. So hormone-free means the hen wasn't administered hormones. But it's honestly a marketing play because hormones and steroids are already banned by the FDA. And also no added antibiotics is another term, but very few hens are administered antibiotics. And those that do end up being diverted from human consumption anyway.
Okay. Then also, there's different colored eggs. So there's brown eggs and there's white eggs. I usually, I think I pick up the brown eggs more than I do the white eggs. But is there a difference?
No, it's just determined by the breed. It's a different breed.
And then, given all this information, what do you recommend that we buy? I mean, there's so much information on eggs. So is there a better one for us?
So listen, ideally, in a perfect world, it's double A grade, organic, pasture raised or free range, that's stamped with certified humane or animal welfare approved seal. Does this exist? It does, but it's probably more expensive than others. So, and there's look for a variety of brands: Vital Farms, Family Homestead, Oliver's Organic, Happy Egg Company, Pete and Jerry's is a popular brand. All have particularly good reputations as well. It all does actually. It's also at Safeway's cage-free eggs and Kirkland's organic eggs at Costco.
Oh.
Trader Joe's does as well. But just read the carton, check the price, and gut check yourself and see what resonates with you. And by the way, Ben, would you eat an egg that wasn't refrigerated?
That wasn't refrigerated? Probably not. I want to make sure those are chilled.
Right. So it's funny. In the United States, we refrigerate our eggs because they're washed. And after the eggs are washed. But in other countries, like Europe and Asia, they're not washed, and so they're not refrigerated. And both regulations are arrived as effective ways to the same problem, which is reducing exposure to salmonella. So farming practices are different in our country versus others, and so that's why ours are refrigerated versus washed and then refrigerated versus other countries.
All right, interesting. So that's all you need to know about eggs this morning here, folks. So next time you go to the supermarket, I usually buy the jumbo eggs. I don't know if we want to get jumbo in here, but I'm assuming these are just bigger eggs, I guess.
They're just, those are just bigger eggs. Again, you want to, look for ideally, free range, and also check the grade too.
Okay. Well, we have another question here that came in, and this is fascinating because I've heard rumors about this, but the caller wants to know what's in a Twinkie that makes it seem to last forever. I got to know here, Amy. What's the answer?
This is shifting gears here.
Yeah.
This is so funny. It's a little bit of an urban myth that a Twinkie will last forever. But a Twinkie certainly lasts as long as it does, thanks to preservatives, but also by avoiding the use of dairy products in the mix. And also don't forget that they're in that airtight cellophane wrapper. So rather than being made with real cream, the vanilla cream filling in Twinkies is made with shortening, sugar, egg, flavoring, and stabilizers, which boil at a much slower rate. So that's how they're able to last longer.
All right. Does somebody do a test on this? I mean, how long do Twinkies actually last? I don't know if someone's determined this.
They actually have to do food testing, so I don't know if they really let it last for 10 years. But how this started was there was a professor in Maine who actually allegedly kept a Twinkie for decades and pulled it out. But you can't eat it. I mean, that's the thing. How long will they last? I suppose they can stay on your shelf for decades, like that professor in Maine found. But the question really is, how long will they last for consumption, right? The sell-by shelf life of a Twinkie is 45 days, and after that, they go really hard and brittle, so you're not going to eat it.
Probably not at that point.
Yeah.
So how bad are Twinkies for you? I mean, you mentioned preservatives and sugar and some other things in there, so are they really bad for you?
Yeah, they're not great for you, but it's not the worst processed food in the world. I mean, there's zero nutritional value. It's a total treat. But there are worse. I mean, for comparison, one Twinkie is 150 calories and about 14.5 grams of sugar. And we talked about cola earlier. A Coke has 140 calories, so almost similar in calories, but 39 grams of sugar. So a Twinkie has 14.5 grams, and a Coke has 39 grams of sugar. And so remember, men should not consume more than 36 grams of sugar, and women 25 grams. So if you pick up a Twinkie, there's still a little room in your diet for other items that might contain sugar for the day. But no doubt a Twinkie is a real, sometimes next to never food.
Pretty much at this point. Well, there you go. I'm pretty stuffed between the eggs and the Twinkies this morning, so I think we got it covered. By the way, you can follow Amy in direct message or any questions through Facebook and also on Instagram at The Grocery Gal. Always fascinating speaking to Amy Goldsmith. And Amy, we've got some more topics to cover, so we want to thank our listeners for getting those in. And I'm hoping that we can chat again next week.
Perfect. Thanks, Ben.
All right. Got to bring us to 7:45. Birthdays and anniversary wishes if you've got them. 928-1440 is my number.
New Frontiers Natural Marketplace is delighted to announce that their gourmet deli is now open again, daily from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Hot and cold entrees, soup,